We're here today because it's our first session, part of the creative process, kind of developing our brand more clearly and coming up with like a new look and all that stuff, working with Blind.
Why? This is working. It just seems like it's a lot of money and it's a lot of work.
I'm just gonna sit back and relax and watch you crash and burn.
This is Blind, a brand strategy design consultancy based in Santa Monica, California. Since 1995, Blind has used the power of design to help diverse clients reach their customers and stand out in the marketplace. In this series, you'll get a rare glimpse behind closed doors and see the process of rebranding a company from start to finish. This is Building a Brand. In our last episode, we introduced you to Josh and Crysten Hamilton, owners of Hamilton Family Brewery. They have engaged Blind to help them rebrand their business in hopes of expanding beyond their tasting room into more restaurants, bars, and other retail. Today, Josh and Crysten have traveled from Rancho Cucamonga to Santa Monica to sit down with Ben and Matthew for discovery.
So what is a discovery session? A discovery session is a facilitated meeting with the clients or stakeholders. Sometimes this can take a few hours, other times it could take a few days. It depends on how big the scope of the project is. In this meeting, we define their goals, we identify the challenges that are getting in the way, we look at their users or customers and understand their pain points and challenges, and then we spend some time talking about their brand attributes. How do we do that? Well, we ask questions, we challenge their assumptions, and we surface the most meaningful insights so we could package that up and put that together in a strategy moving forward.
Ben and Matthew have led plenty of discovery sessions, but even with experience, you can still have jitters.
For the facilitator, which is my role today, it's kind of like this 8-hour speech. So right now I'm a little nervous, but I'm also pretty confident because, I've done this a bunch of times before. So it's kind of like this weird mix.
Ben had the opportunity to go sit down with the owners at the brewery prior to this so he can understand what they're all about a little bit more. I'm coming into the session with very fresh eyes, and as a facilitator in the strategy session, that's something that I will use to my advantage because then I could really be very curious and extract the things that I need out. We're going to sit down with the two partners, husband and wife duo, and we're going to learn about their business, some of their challenges.
Our current challenges is trying to find a way to communicate clearly in our packaging and to everybody outside of our tasting room what we're all about, because we're going to be moving more to distributing our product. It's going to be on shelves a little further from our hometown, where our hometown crowd gets us. We've shook their hands in the tasting room, we've made connections there, and that goes a long way with them. But now it's going to be a can of beer sitting on a shelf that someone's going to need to connect with.
They're ready to grow as a business, and part of that is rebranding, adjusting their messaging, all kinds of stuff. And we're hoping to unearth some of that today, surface some insights, and figure out where they can go from here.
There's no roadmap for entrepreneurship or for business. There's no step-by-step direction. So our job is to help lift that fog a little bit. When we're in discovery, it's trying to figure out the business goals and really understanding the customers and understanding the brand. When we move into designing things, it's how do we help him on that journey with the things that we make. Everything is about lifting that fog for the client. And in this case, I think Josh has a great end goal. I think he has a great vision of where he wants to be, and it's up to us to help get him there. How are you going to define our engagement as a win? What are you looking for out of this?
Man, that's a good question. There's like a vibe you get with beer or something that I don't know how to express it, but when you see like an old can of beer, you might think of your grandpa or something. And I've always kind of wanted to have a sense that we were older than we were, because it's a family brewery. That's maybe why our logo looks so maybe detailed or out. I don't know. It's just going for too much or something.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you want to simplify, but you still want to maintain the history, the heritage.
The heritage, yeah.
The first question Ben asks is what Josh's goals are for the day. Communication, both to his customers and his team, is a big part of it. But his biggest goal is distinguishing Hamilton as the people-centric brewery.
The first brewery I went to, I was all excited. I was already in love with beer, been trying a bunch of different ones. and I had the worst customer service experience, I think, not just at any brewery I've had, but almost in my entire life. I asked for, I was getting a barrel-aged barley wine, and then a little taster of their pale ale for her because she hadn't had any of this brewery's beer. And the guy said, "You want a taster of pale ale?" And then rolled his eyes and went, "Oh," and poured it, and then literally threw it at me across the bar like I was annoying him.
No.
I remember like walking away, like I felt assaulted. I was like, I just paid you for that experience, and like, it was gross. You know, the beer was good, but that only went so far for me because I felt like I don't care if I'm drinking liquid gold right now and I'm gonna poop diamonds later. Like you just like you just threw this at my face, and I was getting a beer for my wife, and we were there with our little girl. She was 6 months at the time, and there wasn't really any. It wasn't really child friendly, I would say. So our first negative experience, or my first experience in a brewery, I was like, gosh, man, like this is not what I imagined breweries were in my mind when I was still in the, just backyard brewing. And if I could start a brewery, what it would be like, and it would be like basically like our backyard or our house. Like you come over, the process is happening right here, you're a guest.
That whole idea of hospitality and being hospitable and bringing people into our space, like actually including them in our lives, was huge. And we wanted to do that on the home front, but also bring that into our business. And we started really looking at other, not just breweries, but other businesses, and seeing how customer service was so big, but it really it was a make or break thing for a lot of people.
So if I can recap, the business was born out of passion, and you want to communicate that. You want to separate yourselves from the herd of trendy snobbery that's kind of circulating around beer right now. And you're really looking to connect with people and families around something as common as a glass of beer.
One of the most important exercises in discovery is identifying your customer base, so it is better understood what kind of behaviors are driving sales. For this, Josh and Crysten will define a few typical customers, including one kind they would like to engage more.
Okay, so let's talk about the beer fanatic. You said that, and I immediately kind of grabbed onto that. So these are the guys that are in the tasting room, right?
Yes, yeah.
And then out of the business as a whole, what percentage of the revenue is dedicated to these people?
From the tasting room standpoint, I would say 70% maybe. And they're the guys who will bring their friends who come to the bar and they say like, I don't like beer. And I'm like, here, try this one. And like, oh, I could drink that, kind of thing. So they'll bring their friends because they're like preaching the craft beer gospel to them. Like, come, try Hamilton's. We'll find something. You'll find something you like there, And then if not, you can be my DD, But they're a huge part.
I think it's a difference between a beer fanatic, I love beer, than a beer snob, a craft beer fanatic.
Yeah, there might be groups to more clearly define. So you have people who love drinking beer regardless of where it comes from, and they're a decent percentage. But then you have people who love craft beer specifically, and they know what big breweries are sold out and they won't drink them anymore.
Yeah.
Anheuser-Busch bought that brewery. I'm done with them, even if the product's good. And then you have the snob, I would say.
So when we look at that, we're looking at three tasting room customers: the beer fanatic, the beer snob, and the brewery enthusiast. Yeah. Do we see those three, or is?
I think I would say good. The brewery enthusiast is the person who just wants to drink at a brewery. The beer snob is the person who's coming more inquisitively, what's this place about? Is it
turtleneck
good?
And the
the pinky up and stuff. Yeah, they're very. Yeah.
Then I just feel I feel like we get a lot of just the everyday Joes, the family man.
Yeah, and I would put them in
family.
the brewery enthusiast because they could
or
drink
the
anywhere,
foodies,
but they're choosing to drink at our place, Yeah.
And the beer snob, that would be more on the foodie side, right?
No, I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to jump in.
Yeah, well, on the meeting snob is talking. No, I'm just kidding. Diving into the profiles of our ideal customers I think it was hard in that moment.
If you don't know who your customer is, you won't know where to find them. That's business 101. And so by profiling our users, by profiling the customer, now we've shown some light in the darkness of who these people are, where to find them, and how best to talk to them. All right, so we have a female brewery enthusiast.
Yeah.
Let's name her. What's her name?
Chelsea.
Chelsea?
I was going to go with Jessica.
I was going to say Jessica too. Let's go with Jessica because we both thought that. Jessica was my first thought, and I was like, that's really
Do we know a Jessica?
No.
No? Okay, there we go.
So, how old is she?
I would say 30.
30 to 35, maybe 40.
No, I would say like low 30, young.
So 25 to 35? Say that?
Do you want a range or you want like a specific?
I want a number.
A number?
You give me a number. How old is this woman?
30.
30 on the nose?
On the
You don't want to go 31?
32.
32?
Let's do my age.
32 years
I just
old.
put myself on blast.
Okay. Is she married?
Half the time. No,
Wait, what?
no, I'm saying because I feel like half of the. Yeah, gosh, that sounded bad. Gosh, no, half
the brewery.
Would you say that this person is like a professional or more of like the stay-at-home mom type?
Well, it's hard because I see both. You know, I see the stay-at-home mom type and I see the professional.
What do you see appealing more? Is this a professionally driven environment or is this a family environment?
More family, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she's probably a stay-at-home mom,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna put that stay-at-home mom. All right. So how many kids does she have?
2,
2.
2, 3. Yeah.
2 kids.
So we're constructing the person we want to get to, that we want to market to.
It sounds like this brewery enthusiast is who you want. It's the ideal customer, but it's also reflective of your current customers,
Right.
which is an alignment that we don't see often. So you kind of have to pull from your experiences, but also bridge the gaps where you don't have that information.
I would see this person as someone who maybe had like a starting job somewhere that they went to. They're probably college educated. They went somewhere to get experience, and then now with kids, they're probably doing like some kind of side hustle on
That's
Etsy
cool.
or something like that, or the Lula roll, or so they're still working, trying to make it work.
That is very common in Rancho culture for moms to have a side hustle.
Okay. What kind of brands does she buy? Where does she shop for groceries?
Probably Sprouts and Trader Joe's, Target.
What is her household income?
I think in Rancho the median is like 70 for a household, 70,000.
For a one, yeah.
Well, for single mom, probably I don't know, 50.
Well, she's married.
She's married.
Okay,
yeah.
married. Okay, so yeah, 70 to 80, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna put 75.
Another reason why these user personas that we develop during the exercises today, why they're important is because we actually use them as a filter and a reference throughout the entire process. So as you'll see as we go through the design process, we'll always check back on our personas and say, would this be appealing to Jessica, our user type? So everything that we design, we kind of filter through these user personas to make sure and keep us in check as we design throughout the process.
From the managing feedback side of things, it's also fantastic to have these user profiles because a lot of times when somebody sees something, somebody sees a piece of work, they react emotionally out of personal preference. And it's really helpful to say, hey, remember, we're not designing this for you. We're designing this for Jessica. Do you think she's gonna like it? Are we ready to construct another person from the ground up?
Yeah.
Love to. This is so fun.
You don't like Kurt, the name?
Let's do Kurt.
It's Continuity girl. We already named
Kurt.
her.
I think for me, putting myself in Jessica's shoes was a lot easier than putting myself in Kurt's shoes.
Yeah, I want to live Kurt's life.
Yeah, I
Kurt's
don't
got
know
it.
Kurt.
He's got it made.
I don't
dude.
know
I mean,
him
this guy
at all.
Yeah, you do. He's right here, girl.
I want to get to know him.
Oh.
All right, so let's dig into this guy. How old is he?
I'd say like 35.
Yeah.
Okay, 35 years old. Is he married?
No, doesn't have too much luck with the ladies.
Oh no.
He's got a drinking problem he's dealing with.
He hasn't found a lady who
Not
loves
that he
beer
drinks
as
too much,
as
he
him.
spends too much on it. Yeah.
I think he has a girlfriend. He has a girlfriend.
Oh, does it? Okay. Online, but he doesn't know if he's being catfished or not. No, I'm just kidding. No.
So mean.
So he's got a girlfriend. Does he have any kids? Has he ever been married?
Yeah, if we're going, this is like the most informed person we met. I don't know too many of them that do have kids or that are married. So I would say no.
Yeah. He's
No
had a
kids?
couple girlfriends.
Okay. Is he college educated?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you go to school?
Probably a local college, I would imagine.
Is it a community college or like a university?
This is probably going to be outside of Rancho.
Yeah.
right? So, because the community of beer snobs in Rancho is probably pretty small.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about people that would come back to Rancho though, or like come to Rancho.
Or order online.
Order online or trade and stuff. So
Right.
these are people outside of our. So I would say, yeah, college educated, probably like a 4-year college. Yeah.
Okay, so what does he do?
Probably in the tech-ish,
Techie, yeah.
smarter with computers than me.
Yeah.
Maybe he's an engineer.
There you go.
Yep.
So how much does he make then? Because it sounds like if he has money to spend on the finer things,
Yeah.
and he's a tech engineer.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe like
Would be pretty good though.
100.
Sure. Okay.
So this guy is either living in San Francisco, Austin, LA, New York. Where is he in the world?
Yeah, I would say probably the bigger city type stuff. Yeah.
LA?
Yeah. Well, there. Yeah. Sure.
Or you want to go for like
No, LA would probably be a good one for our purposes here. Yeah.
Okay, so he's an engineer for a tech company. He's pulling in $100K a year.
which isn't that much to live in LA, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right. He could be. He might need to be making more. Maybe like 120.
Maybe 120.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's out of our league.
Well, I'm starting to understand this guy the more we talked about him at lunch and stuff like that. And I don't think he is out of your league because he's looking for that edge that nobody else has. He's looking for the gem.
Mm-hmm.
Like the double mango, nobody's doing that, right? You guys are the only ones doing that?
Yeah.
I've seen more and more mango beers popping up, but
Not with real mangoes.
Okay, so he's kind of after that edge above the rest of the beer snobs,
yeah,
right?
because you can get like, let's see, art, and you can just tell it's total artificial. There's a few places in do mango beers that it's like, oh, that's just basically Jolly Rancher flavoring. So it tastes like, to the novice, it may be
Right.
like, wow, this is all it is alcoholic mango juice, and like, we're very careful to make sure it still stands up as a double IPA, but also has some mango characteristics. So it's a fine line to walk, but and I haven't had very many, if any, that do it as well as we do in terms of both mango and beer presence.
Don't be humble about that.
Okay. Yeah, everybody else sucks at it.
There you go.
Despite the laughs, success is not always easy to come by with every exercise. This is where the discovery session shines brightest, by forcing the client to really think about all of the aspects of the brand that will help a designer or agency create a new identity that will clearly and effectively communicate who they are.
One thing that I like to do is ask, okay, what brands, regardless if they're beer brands or not, what brands do you feel like capture a similar voice or a similar look to what you guys are going for?
So we're just going to dig right in. And the way that we do this is we're going to ask you some kind of defining questions in 4 prompts
Maybe less.
that are pretty distinct.
Yeah.
So we're going to kick things off with what I think is the easiest one, which is look and feel. So this new brand that we're creating for you, how do you want it to look? How would you describe it?
Gosh. Okay, so it's going to be weird because it's two things that don't go together. I want there to be like a weatheredness to it that it seems like so that it communicates like quality or not traditional, because I want to be modern, but I guess quality or reliability.
Right.
I like the idea of us seeming older than we are.
Right.
Because
Just the heritage.
there's
is one
there you
thing.
go. Yeah. So a family brewery that maybe didn't even start with me was passed down. It was
Right.
it was older. It's in the blood. It's in the family. But despite that, we're not like staying away from modern trends or modern beers, but we're not throwing away our identity every time something new comes up, which I've seen a lot of places do. They're like, oh, the cool thing is neon colors and cats flying through space. Let's throw away everything we've built and only do neon colors and cats flying through space.
Right.
And so I want to be sure enough in who we are and what we've done and what we do that
Right. So it's not trendy is what I heard on that part.
I would say so. I mean, I don't like that's my preference. This is
Like,
and I think if we're going to be called a family brewery, there needs to be some kind of stability there.
totally stability, but like I don't want to neglect. There's a difference between trend and like popular. Or like I don't know how to define that because I don't want to not follow the trends of the beer industry. Like if there's like a new style of beer, like I want to be ahead of the trend. Honestly.
Well, this is really just how the brand looks. So if I look at the Apple logo, for example, I would say, hey, Apple is a really modern, clean brand.
Yeah.
Matthew's better. He has better visual vocabulary than I am, but we're really discussing how the brand looks.
Yeah, and don't edit yourself yet. I think right now, like whatever comes to mind, just say it, because what we're going to do at the end of this exercise in each of these is we're going to look at the list and prioritize the top 5.
I want something that communicates like family, would you say?
Yeah, like wholesome in
Yeah,
a sense.
yeah.
That's a word that describes it.
Welcoming. Like I think a lot of brands could be like, very exclusive.
Yeah.
Like,
What's an example of a welcoming brand in your eyes? And I probed them 3 times throughout that exercise, and they were drawing blanks. At that point, Ben had pulled an audible and just said, hey, let's just all stand up. Let's go do a brand new exercise. This is totally unscripted. And let's look at something that we've already created, because we have this big wall of brand Stylescapes that we've created for a bunch of other clients before.
I'm not a big fan of this. I feel like this is different than this. And I think that is like more of like the welcoming, comforting thing that I like about that.
This is also very outdoorsy.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
guys noticing that? And you look at there's a really clean typography here, paired with some kind of stampy stuff right here that brings in the weathered,
Yeah.
the more industrial feel.
It's like really appealing.
Even though it still seems like sturdy and consistent, so like we can have adventurous stuff with that kind of feel.
I was so nervous at that moment. Could you tell?
No, I thought you had it in your back pocket. Like I planned this last night, and I knew this moment would come, and now here it is. That's the aura that I got from you.
Okay.
I was like, Ben, you've been saving this.
No,
this
it
little trump
was
card."
literally an idea that popped into my head like that moment. Sometimes you just have to have something to react to visually, instead of trying to develop the words out of thin air.
I think once we did that exercise, we got a lot more clarity, and I feel a lot more confident that we could go back to our design team, show them a couple things, and show them the document and say, hey, this is where we need to go, and we'll get exactly what we need out of that process.
We're going to conclude this as part of the session. I think that's it for the day.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think we should just talk about next steps real quick, and then wrap up on this, because if we go back to our graph there at the bottom on 36, basically this is all we did today, was this orange thing. We did our discovery trying to pull all these insights, and what we're going to do in this next step is just refine all of the insights that we've gained today, so that we understand the look and feel, which we've already kind of done a first pass of, the voice and tone, how we sound, and then that will ultimately define our behavior. Like if this brand was a personality, how would that look, act, and talk in different situations, right? So those are things that we're going to evolve over the next couple of weeks. And then we're going to go back to the first couple of exercises on the users and just refine that a little bit, right? Right now, I think it's very raw.
Yep.
We all need some time, a little bit to process. We'll bundle this all back up, send this over to you guys, and then just confirm like, hey, now that you have some time to reflect, feel free to add or edit anything, or just confirm that this is a good direction, because this will be our Bible moving forward for everything we create.
After the meeting, something I'll definitely be looking at differently business-wise is the ideal customers we created, and that we created names for, Jessica and Kurt.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun, but now I'm gonna be looking oh, I think that's a Jessica, or I think that's a Kurt now.
I don't even know if we even knew that was even a thing.
Yeah, we've never done that, because every customer is our ideal customer right now.
Totally. I'm really excited, because I really believe that we have a good product. We have a good passion and heart, and I think once our customer learns that, I think they're going to be excited about it. And so it's just a matter of communicating that to our customer.
I think we have a product that deserves better representation.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
So I think right now there's something missing that I think Blind can kind of fulfill.
Absolutely, yeah.
On our next episode, Ben and Matthew will assemble a team of designers and deliver the creative brief, a collection of information that will help the designers understand who Hamilton Family Brewery is, who their customers are, and what Hamilton is hoping to achieve with this rebrand. This will be the designers' jumping off point to build Stylescapes, which will help define the look and feel of the brand. Join us next time for episode 3 of Building a Brand.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have a question, leave it in the comment section below. And if you want to learn more about brand strategy or the discovery process, check out the links in the description. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because it really helps us out. We'll see you on the next episode of Building a Brand.